Well, Raider Nation, we can collectively exhale. Your Las Vegas Raiders are now 2-0. Eddie Paskal here, joined with my man Donald Penn. And D Penn, before we get talking about the game, dive into what we saw over the last couple hours. We are here at this fantastic studio. We're here at the Blue Wire studio inside the Wynn. And man, this is not too shabby for us to hang out for a little bit, is it?
Nah, this thing is beautiful. Whoever designed this, they did an incredible job on it. I love it. You get to see the people walking by, and it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, man, absolutely outstanding. Speaking of things that are beautiful, the way that this Las Vegas Raiders team is playing right now, DP, and the Raiders win 26-17. We're going to go through it all over the next little bit here. But let's just start here, Donald. This defense, this Raiders defense, looks nothing like the defense we saw a year ago, and I mean that in the best possible way. When you see what Gus Bradley has done over the past couple months, and now, more specifically these past 2 weeks, what is working for those guys on that side of the ball?
They're not doing too much stuff. It looks like Gus had a couple of, packages that he went through training camp, and they mastered these packages, and they're running it. They're running it great. Everybody knows where to be. They're moving fast. They're flying to the ball. They're gang tackling. A couple of them plays they could have got out, but everybody's rushing to the ball. Everybody's gang tackling. I played against Gus's defenses in the past. He's always had hard defenses, tremendous defenses, and man. If I had this defense in 2016, 2017, we might have had 2 Super Bowls already here. But that's what I've been saying. That's been a missing link here for the last couple of years of the Raiders is the defense. And if they don't need a lot. They just need a little bit. Derek Carr and John Gruden, with what they're doing, the way they're flowing right now, they're going to put up enough points. If the defense keeps playing and holding up like they are, I might have to come out of retirement.
Oh, my. And we'll talk about DC and JG in just a little bit, Donald. But we were talking about Gus Bradley's defense on the ride over here. And you were saying essentially what you said now. Like, hey, if I had this defense in 2016, we're singing a very different song. But, like, when you look at Gus's scheme and what he does in terms of, like, the X's and O stuff, everything that we've heard from all the guys in the locker room, they say in the best possible way, he just makes it simple. He doesn't overcomplicate things. When you take a look, and keeping in mind that you've known and forgot more football than I will ever know, like, what about Gus's defense historically just make them work?
Well, you got to understand, when I met Gus, he was in Tampa with me. He just came off a Super Bowl. He had Monty Kiffin. That's a great person to learn from. Coach Tomlin just left the year before I got there to go to Pittsburgh. That's another great person you're learning from. Raheem Morris was there. He's been a head coach. He's been a D coordinator. So you had Gus in this environment with all these great coaches. So how can you not be great? You're getting all this advice. You're learning all this new stuff from all these guys. And then when he got to Seattle, he got to put stuff on his own. And, I mean, Gus's defenses have always been great. I mean, always been top tier, top 15 in the league. And, one thing they do, you're rarely going to see him get beat over the top. He's always going to keep everything in front of him. And that's one thing I like. They had that one long pass today. I think Claypool.
Yep.
Yeah, they had that one long pass, but you're not going to see that much. In the past, we used to see that a lot, being Raider fans. You're not going to see a lot of that. His defenses, they're going to be where they're supposed to be. You're not going to see a whole bunch of confusion before the play. You saw that a lot with Paul. They don't know, hey, sideline, what we going on? Everything's going to be. And one thing about Gus that I don't know because I'm not there, but just watching, it's simplified. It's a lot easier. It's not a whole bunch of different stuff. The stuff they're doing, they went over enough to where everybody on that team, and even if somebody comes off the bench after sub in, they know where to be and they know what to do, and they're doing it good.
And I'm glad you brought up those kind of deep strikes. And this is something we were talking about when we were watching the game up on the 3rd floor. I know that today you guys were on the 2nd floor, we were up on the 3rd floor. We got to make sure everyone has enough room to eat. So, but I'm curious if you're an offense, right? So putting your offensive lineman hat on for a second, when you look at the Steelers, right? I think they had 7, maybe 8 really like long strike attempts today. They connected on 1. If you're an offense, like, what do you kind of view as a successful percentage on connecting of those? You know what I mean? Because, like, I think of, like, Russell Wilson, and it feels like Russell Wilson connects on, like, 40% of those. Like, if you're an offense, like, what do you feel good about in terms of that?
We won all of them.
Well, I know you won. I know you won all of them, Donald. But
no, we won all of them. But, as many as you can, really. It's not too many times. You look at a game, like, some of those plays weren't off play actions. They were just, okay, set. We look at the ones where you get the play action ones where you're not going to get too many play actions where you're setting up that run. And that's another thing that the Raiders need to do better in. They need to start setting up these play actions with the run game. And I think that was a problem with the Steelers too, because the run game was on both sides of the ball was not good today. So they couldn't really set up those long passes and those deep throws. But my percentage is, I mean, as many as possible. They're game changers.
Yeah.
And the momentum swing. You know, the one long one that we had with Ruggs. I mean, I put the nail in the coffin.
100%.
But they're so momentum things. It's hard to give a percentage. I really can't give you that, but over 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Look, if you're connecting on 5 of 10 or 6 of 10, knowing that you're not going to shoot 100% in the NFL, that seems like a pretty good percentage to me. But I'm glad you brought up the rushing game, Donald. And we look at the Steelers today, 14 carries, 39 yards, under 3 yards a carry for them. But the Raiders, 25 attempts, 52 yards, just over 2 yards a carry. And you and I both know that if this team wants to succeed, if they want to keep winning ball games, stacking W's, you have got to get this run game going. You just have to find a way to do it. And yeah, I know we didn't have Josh today, and I know that we had this kind of reworked offensive line again. But what is this? I mean, is there a secret to getting the big fellas up front and the Peyton Barbers and Kenyon Drakes of the world going?
You know, first thing I got to do, I got to take my hats off to the defense. They've been doing a great job. Gus, you guys doing a great job stopping the run. Holding Pittsburgh, since I've been playing football, they've always in the top tier of running. That's what you know for them, and hold them to that. That's great. But we cannot keep betting on DC. DC's playing at a Super Bowl. I mean, not Super Bowl. He's playing at an MVP caliber level right now. But, you know, it's a long season, and they have an extra game this year. We got to make sure we have DC this whole season because he's the glue. So we're going to have to ease off of him a little bit and rely on the run game. But we're going to have to get it going. You know, they got one of the best run game coordinators in the NFL and Tom Cable. They're going to get it right. You know, they got a lot of injuries in the offensive line. Getting down early, like Baltimore, it's hard to run then. But this game, you know, we just couldn't. They got to get – I feel like this. Once you get one good game going, then it's going to start growing. We ain't had that one good running game yet. You know, then the momentum starts, and then you know what you could do. But to not have a good running game and to still be 2-0,
it's fantastic.
You got to have your hats off to it. But I know it's something that Gruden loves. No matter how much Gruden talks about throwing the Y2 banana, Gruden loves running the ball. He loves getting up there because, you know, Gruden's a tough, talking stuff type of dude. And when you run the ball on somebody, you take their grit, you take their heart out. And Gruden will always love to win like that. And the good thing, even though we won, the good thing is when they had to run the ball at the end of the game, they were able to do it.
100%. 100%.
That's a big thing.
And I'm curious from your perspective, Donald, and I'm sure you've had games like this throughout your career. For those first 3 quarters, and I tweeted out, like, I'm the biggest, like, run-first kind of guy. I know it's a very kind of old-school approach, but like you said, that's what John wants to be. John wants to be a run-first team. He wants to stack those tight ends. He wants to run the football. But it just felt like it wasn't there those first 3 quarters. As a lineman, can you feel that in the game where you're like, yo, I know we're protecting for Derek. I know we're giving him time to work, but it's not happening in the running game. Is that something tangible you can feel?
It hasn't been working the last 2 games, but there's still the momentum. I mean, with the pass game, it kind of feels like they are running the ball, even though they're not, because the way we're moving the ball up and down the field. You know, it's like we're running the ball, but we're not. But you do get that feeling like, but it's kind of, you get, I mean, me as a player, I just get frustrated, like, what are we doing wrong? Why can't we not run? You know what I mean? And it's, you understand, it's 5 people. It could be one wrong step, and it's like that run game is just so delicate. And then you have times where you make the wrong step and you still bust a big run. So it's like you got to have a little luck and just a little momentum. They got to get a good game and get it started early. We haven't started running the ball well early. You know, the Baltimore game, Jacobs got the rushing touchdown late in the game. You know, this game, we started rushing it better late in the game. But we got to start getting – I don't think we're going to be able to bet on D.C. this whole season. DC's playing great right now, but we're gonna need some help. And getting Jacobs back and getting the offensive line healthy, man. We're 3 guys out of the offensive line right now. You know, I know Cable's one of the best at putting together those makeshift O-lines, but you know, he needs to get some of his guys back.
No, I mean, look, you're preaching the choir there. I mean, you look at Derek's line today, 28 of 37, 382 yards, 2 tutties, ends with a pass rating of 126.2. And that's fantastic. And you're right. Derek is playing out of his mind right now. But over the course of a 17-game season, you have got to, at some point, whether it's next week, week 5, week 7, whenever it is, you have got to establish the run. You have got to figure out a way to do it.
But one thing I could tell you guys, Raider fans listening, don't get worried. Y'all are 2-0 without running the ball.
Look,
that's something to be happy about.
It is. It's 100% something to be happy about.
It's still a long season. We have time to get this running game fixed. But for us to still be winning without having a running game, don't get so down on it because we're still winning. If we were losing the run game, we'd be like, oh my gosh, what do we got to do? It's not panic time yet because we're still winning. We're still doing great things. I felt like the offensive line did a pretty. I mean, if I grade the offensive line as a whole in the game, I'm gonna give them a B plus.
I think that's
as
fair.
a whole. They had to may have parts mixed up, but as a whole, I felt like they protected DC, and DC got rid of the ball. And the way DC's like his pocket presence, he's comfortable right now. That's scary. DC's in a zone right now. He's moving around that pocket like that one long one where he shot out, threw it to Ruggs. They had a blitz on. Colton puts a blitz. DC knew the outside guy was coming free. He sit there, waited a second, watched the guy coming at him, and then threw a bomb off his back foot to Ruggs. Like DC is doing. When are we gonna start talking about DC in the top tier quarterbacks?
Oh,
I think it's time now.
I mean, we could do Donald. You and I could do it. We could do a 4-hour show on Derek and being a top tier quarterback. I think it's time
for him to be talked about with the greats now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the one thing that'll always come back to Derek, right, is he's got to do in the playoffs. Yep. He's done it in the regular season year after year after year. I don't think there's anyone that's debating that Derek is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league right now. But there's a big difference between being a talented guy and doing it in the postseason. I think that for him is the next step. And look, it's a team game, so Derek gets a lot of flack from a lot of people for a lot of different things. But there are 52 guys on a football team, right? And so it is unfair. And you know this as well as I do, man. The quarterback is going to get all the praise when things are going well. And when things are not going well, he's going to get all the blame too. But one thing that I like that we saw from Derek today, and obviously there's a ton of things to like when your quarterback throws for damn near 400 yards again. Two things. One, we got Ruggs involved. 100 yards plus for Henry Ruggs. But also this. Darren Waller was not the kind of safety blanket that we've seen him be at times. Look, 19 targets for Darren last week, and Darren is a dog. Darren is one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in the NFL. But you have got to let other people eat. And I'm looking at Waller's line today. 7 targets for 65 yards. Not overly flashy. He kind of has the nail in the coffin to finish that game. But I love that Derek, you can tell that he's getting more comfortable going to some of those younger guys, mainly Henry Ruggs.
Hey, Waller, I need a little more. I got you in my fantasy, man. Come on, Waller. Last week, you did so nice for me. No, all jokes aside, but I think today's game was tremendous for the offense as a whole because now you ain't got to depend on Waller the whole game. And now you can see the trust that Derek has and all his other receivers. I mean, how many different receivers he hit today? He hit a couple. Hunter.
8 receivers today.
8 receivers. I love what Hunter's doing. I love that they finally got Ruggs going. Now I think Ruggs could build from this momentum and take it in because they don't need a lot from Ruggs. Like, did you see how fast did you see how fast he was today?
The thing that got me, Donald, is that when you see Henry get behind the defense like that, when you see him kind of win his one-on-one, he doesn't even look like he's sprinting. He literally looks like he's out for a jog on a Sunday morning at like his local park. He does not look like he's breaking a sweat at all, and it's incredible to watch. And that touchdown from Derek to him is you're not going to find a lot of touchdowns this year. You will not see many nicer touchdowns in 2021 than that one.
Did you see the throw by Derek off the back foot?
Oh, I did. I sure did.
It was long, it was about 60 yards.
I think it was. They said it was a 61-yard touchdown.
50-yard pass. It was off the back foot with somebody in your face.
That's tough.
Rolling out the pocket.
Who was I'm just curious as we go on the side here, DP. Who was the fastest, like, pure speed guy you played with?
Man, Joey Galloway, maybe.
Yeah?
Man, Joey Galloway was fast.
I feel like Coop was up there. Coop has a different kind of speed. Yeah, but Coop's got a different kind of speed.
Coop is fast. But Joey Galloway, and I played with Joey Galloway at the end of his career, too, so I don't know what that young Joey Galloway was like. Joey Galloway. Let me. Who else can I think that I played with or I watched?
I mean, either or.
Because some of the stuff Tyreek does, it's like.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at him like, bro, like this is cheating. Like this is really cheating. But I had a guy that I went to college with. He played in the league too, Kevin Curtis. One of the fastest white boy I ever seen. like he played in the league, I think 8 years. Fast. But Coop was fast. But Joey Galloway, man, I see some stuff. Joey's coming huddle, and he'll call the play, and there'll be a play action, and Joey be like, "Y'all tired? I got y'all." He'll go out there and catch the touchdown. We'd be on the sideline, no line, come back. I told y'all, I got y'all. like Joey has some incredible speed. It's
so funny too. Where you look at a defense in general and what speed, you look at an offense in general, but you look at what speed can do to an offense. I mean, we saw kind of bits and spurts from Henry last year and kind of being that deep threat. But man, I mean, we talk about it today, and that connection from Derek to him, and that is just one of those ones that you look at hopefully at the end of this year and into next year and on, that just gets better and better and better. It's kind of our answer to that Mahomes-Tyreek situation.
Yeah, I think, Gruden's going to start doing a lot more things with Ruggs. I think he ran a sprint jet sweep today. So, I think he's going to start getting him in some more screens now, especially after today. I know Gruden's going to start putting a little package together for Ruggs. That's all Gruden needed. Gruden need a little nudge. Ruggs, that 61-yard pass. Now, Gruden going to come back on Wednesday's practice by Ruggs. I got a whole package for you now. You showed me. Now I know what you could do. That's how Gruden is. So now Gruden going to have a whole package for Ruggs.
You see how happy he looked after that touchdown, too?
I think happy for him.
Yeah, but I think that's the biggest smile I've seen from JG in months.
I just hope he builds from it. I think as a football player, like you need that. Like that's why I'm kind of mad Leatherwood didn't get to finish the game. He's going to get one of the best defense ends as a rookie, man. That's something he needs. Even if he didn't have his best game. I thought he did pretty good, though. But even if you don't have your best game as a rookie being early, you need that learn. You need to know, okay, I want to get TJ. So I'm here, but I want to be here, but I know where I'm at now. You need to, level your play. So I kind of wish he would have been able to finish that game so I could have seen that matchup. But, Leatherwood had his work cut out, man. They were throwing TJ. They were throwing Melvin Ingram at him. Those are two great DNs. I mean, I played against Melvin. I know how hard Melvin is. I really wish Leatherwood could have finished playing that game because that's how you get better by being out there, being in the trenches, going through the thing. You can't get better watching it. So I really hope his injury's not that serious and he can get back, man, because I like what I see out of him so far. He's very athletic, man, you know what I mean? And TJ's no slouch.
I mean, you talk about Alex Leatherwood, ruled out of the game, second half with an oblique injury. But, DP, I think the one thing that if you're a fan of this team right now, Alex Leatherwood is your right tackle of the future. If everything goes to plan, and there's no reason to think that it won't, he is your right tackle for the next decade. He's a guy that gets better week after week after week after week. But through two games, with the expectation and the understanding that he's not going to be perfect, I think the pre-snap penalties are the thing that is kind of hovering over his head right now. If you were a teammate of his, if you were that vet in the offensive line room, what do you say to him? How do you coach him up and be like, look, man, you're playing well, you're doing great, but we have to clean this part of your game up?
And the thing that magnifies those two offsides is because they were in the red zone.
Yeah, the moment.
And they both hurt us from scoring too. So those stick out, I mean, the second one, they got a field goal. Both of them, they got a field goal on it. But, you know what I mean? It could be a touchdown. So that kind of really does sit hard on you when you kind of mess a touchdown up. But, one thing I hope from Leatherwood, they won both of those games. So I hope he's not beating himself up too much about it. So he could bounce back, man. He's a young player. You don't want to be – and that's also what I would tell him too. So I'm trying to answer your question too. I also tell him, like, bro, you got to bounce back. But next time I'm going to be like, hey, in the red zone, you get antsy. You need to focus in, hone in more on the red zone because that's where you're antsy, you're ready to go. You know what I mean? It's tough too. Pittsburgh is loud. It gets loud in the end zone. I played there before. It gets loud. You're going off. He was trying to get a good jump. A couple plays before that, he gave a sack against J.J. Watt. So that was probably still in his head too. Like, oh, let me get a jump on this pass play because I just gave a sack fumble for him. So that was a whole bunch of stuff that went in there. So I would tell him to like calm down. I would watch some film. I'd be like, when you get in the red zone or after you make a mistake, you need to hone in even more because that's when you start making another one. You don't want to add on to another mistake by jumping off sides because he had the sack, then he jumped off sides the next play, I think, if I was right. But, that's growing pains being a young guy. The good thing is they won both games and it didn't really hurt him that much, so he can learn from that. But if I was a veteran, man, Leatherwood would be going everywhere I'd be going. He'd be with me. He'd be on my hip. Hey, let's go. I'm going to lift. You going to lift. I'm going to eat. You going to eat. You know what I mean? That's the type of dude I am. You know what I mean? Bad thing is when Colton was there, I got hurt, so I couldn't do it as much as possible because I was injured. So, but that's what I would do. You know what I mean?
But you talked even when you were with us back in Oakland, and you talked about the guys that did that for you, and how much that meant to you, and how much that kind of prematurely lengthened your career. Like so, because it showed you like, hey, this is how you do it in the NFL. This is someone who has done it at the highest level for a long, long time, and now it's time for me to kind of impart my wisdom onto the next generation. Yeah,
I mean, I got to give a big thanks to Brian McKinney when I was in Minnesota as a free agent, Anthony Herrera, Matt Burke, Steve Hutchinson. And when those guys lifted, I followed them, follow route. When they got in the cold tub, I followed cold tub. When they got in the pool after training camp practice, I got in the pool, I didn't know any better than when I got to Tampa. I had two other rookies that were starting on the line, and Davin Joseph and Jeremy Trueblood, they were both first and second round draft picks. So I started following their lead, you know. So we always worked out together, always lifted together. Then the other guys see us together, they want to come, and that's kind of how you do it. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, the Raiders are becoming that family, coming to a close group. Because if you see when DC went down, almost the whole team was on the field. You know, they know that's their guy. They know that's the engine in the truck that's going to lead them. And, you know, as a family, when you see everybody comes out when somebody gets hurt, that's how you know people are really legitimately concerned. They really care about each other on top of just winning football games. And that's going to take you a long way through a long season of winning.
I will say, though, and I agree with you 100%, where the fact that everyone comes out, they circle around Derek, they know this is the guy. Like, if we want to have any success this year, it is going to be on the back of, it is going to be in the arm of number 4. But the flip side of that, man, is it makes me very nervous, right? When you see the quarterback go down and everyone swarms out, you're automatically thinking, "Oh my God, what's going on? What's going on?" You're like, so I understand it from both perspectives, but I'm just happy that Derek was able to walk off. He was able to finish the game. He was, granted, he looked like he was moving around a little gingerly.
He always scared me like that. I'm like, bro, when I used to play with him, he laid down for that extra long time. Like, DC, get up, stop scaring me like that. And then you see he hopped up and walked right back. And I was in the room telling him, I said, oh, yeah, he's good, because he wasn't walking with no limp when he got back. So I was like, okay, we're good. But I just hope it's not nothing serious and nothing that's going to linger into next week, because we need that guy.
And I think it's interesting to ask you, because you've seen Derek really from when he was a young guy, when he first got to Oakland to now. How do you think that the way that Derek kind of attacks the non-Sunday aspect of the game, getting your body back, making sure that you're as close to 100% physically as you can be, how do you think that's changed from when he was a rookie in Oakland to now?
I think he, as a rookie, first year, he did it, but he didn't do it as much. But now, like DC is one of the first ones in the building. He ain't going to be the first one. He ain't going to be the last one to leave, though, because he going to get home to his kids. You know what I mean? But he's going to be the first one in there. He's going to make up his time after in the morning by being there at the same time grooming together. I think DC's there 5 in the morning. You know what I mean? But he's going to leave after the meeting, which I respect, too, because he has kids. But DC still has the – y'all don't know, DC got the whole computer gig where he can watch film like we have in the thing. He has all that at his house. So, you know, he can make up for it. You know, I love that he's a family man, too, and he takes that time out, you know. But DC's going to be the first one in there. One thing I'm never been worried about is DC being prepared. And one thing I ain't never been worried about, DC not going to be there, because DC's going to do whatever he takes to take care of his body. And he has a good team, and he has a good routine, and it's been great for him, man. I just really want DC just to get to these playoffs and make a run, man. That's the only thing he's missing in his career.
You know, I'm glad you read up like Derek the Family Man. Is that an interesting place for NFL players to reside? Is like, look, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to be here at 5 in the morning, but at the same time, like, I got 3 little kids at home. Like, I want to make sure I'm there for like that part of their life too. Like, is it a fine line as a pro that you're going to kind of find there?
Oh, it definitely is. I remember when I used to play, man, as soon as that thing was over, I tried to get everything I needed to get done with, so when it was time for me to leave, I could go home. Because, you know, sometimes we're not leaving at 5 in the evening. I want to get home, spend some time with my kids when they were living with me. So you got to, and I think that's something that keeps Derek sane. I think that's one of his biggest motivations. I think that's one of the biggest things that keeps him going. So, and keeps him playing so hard, you know. With DC, I think he should be ready for life, and DC should have at least 1 or 2 Super Bowls before he's done.
God, I hope so. I hope you're right, DP.
I hope so, too.
Hey, I'm looking at the defensive side of the football, and we talked about the defense, how much better they're playing. But you look in particular, man, I don't know if we've seen this version of Max Crosby yet. And 2020 was better than 2019. He comes out of nowhere as this small, undersized rookie from Eastern Michigan, balls out, double-digit sacks. Last year, another really productive season. But these first 2 games of 2021, Donald, I mean, Max is everywhere. He is absolutely everywhere out there. And I think having Yannick Ngakoue on their side helps him. But, dude, I don't know if there's a defensive lineman playing better football right now than Max.
Hey, Max is nice, man. I give it to Max. Max really came out on the scene, and he's really impressed me. I wish I could have a couple of one-on-ones with Max just to fill him out so I can see how good he is. But Max has been playing some good ball. And for Max being in his second year, man, I was watching him against Baltimore. I was watching him today. He got some moves that a second-year guy shouldn't be having. Like, he hit the dip. He had that dip against Baltimore. He didn't get the sack, but he made Lamar step up, and then Weston came and got the sack at the end of the game. But some of the moves and some of the pressure, and you guys missing a lot too, because he's getting a lot of pressure that ain't showing up on the stat books because of sacks and everything. He's disrupting a lot of stuff. But man,
I mean, you look at that interception today. That's a perfect example, right?
Yep.
Where Max getting home, Max and Quentin Jefferson getting home there. That's what forces the interception that Trayvon gets the.
and that was a big hit on Walkenberg. I know he remembered that hit.
Yeah.
Hit tough. But man, Max, man, I like Max. You hearing, man? Max, I like your game, Max. Keep it up. I like your swag. I like everything about you so far, Max. So keep it up, Max. I might come out there and try to get one-on-one rep in with you, Max. Just one. Don't take it easy on him.
He's pretty swaggy though, right?
Yeah,
he's swaggy. He's got that C on his. Yeah, he's got that C on his chest. Now he knows what's up.
I like the way Max carry himself, man. And it looks like he's a good leader too. Like he's always keeping the guys going. It looks like he's the first perfect fit, man. I haven't heard anything bad about Max, so I like everything I've been hearing about him.
No, I mean, you look at obviously everything that he's gone through off the field over the past year.
Especially with the sobriety thing.
Yeah,
that
100%.
stuff's big, man. Him and Waller, I got to take my hats off to him, man. That's big. That's big. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that, man. My hats are off to you guys, man. And I just want to wish you guys continued success with that.
Absolutely. So before we get out of here, DP, Raiders are 2-0. They haven't won in the prettiest ways, but what does it mean for a team to start the season with two really, really tough games, two AFC North games? They handled business in both of them, and now you have a chance. It doesn't feel like you're playing catch-up, and now it feels like you're leading the pack and you're keeping pace with the rest of the teams in the AFC.
The only thing I wish I could switch was that we beat two teams in our conference first two games. That's the only thing I could switch, but no, it's great. I'm loving being a Raider. I'm loving being a fan, man. And like you said, right now, we control our own destiny. We could keep winning or we could lose. We control our own destiny. We 2-0 right now, baby. We number one in the AFC. Our tie. So I'm excited.
2-0 coming back to Vegas now, week 3 against the Miami Dolphins with questions at quarterback as we sit here and record this on a Sunday afternoon. Big questions about Tua Tagovailoa and whether or not he's going to be available a week from today. But man, DP, it's one of those things where you don't want to look ahead, and you know this better than I do. You can't look too far ahead, right? You can't be counting your chickens. You got to be going week by week by week. But all of a sudden, you're 2-0. You're welcoming a Dolphins team that on paper, famous last words.
I know what you're getting at.
On paper, Donald.
I know what you're getting at.
Look like you could be 3-0, but man.
You cannot think like that. And one thing me and Marcus talked about early on the ride was how they were going to come back from that emotional win from Baltimore. And I was a little worried about that too, but I really felt like they answered very straight. They didn't look like they were, still off that little high from the first win. But now, like you said, they cannot fall into that trap. 2 big wins, one at the home opener in overtime, one on the road against Pittsburgh, your rival. Then you're going into a Dolphins team that's not so great right now. Raiders, we cannot drop the ball. It's so easy too. We cannot drop it. And I knew what you were getting at.
I knew. I was setting you up, Donald.
That ball. So we got to stay focused and come and finish this off, man. That's one thing, and that's one thing about our team history that we've done in the past too. So I really. But one thing I know, Gruden's gonna make that a point this week. Oh, he's gonna definitely make that a point to the team.
I hit you with the Dwayne Wade lob. I was like, take me home, DP. Slam it home.
You know what? I had to lay it up though. I can't dunk no more.
You still got enough juice in those knees, man. Well, hey, man, Donald, on our way out, dude, and we were talking about this on the ride over. I'm just so excited, like personally, very selfishly, that we were able to do this because you and I talked when you were in Oakland. And I was like, DP, man, like I would love if there's a world where we could get you on a show, we could have you here consistently. And I respect that you're like, look, let me finish playing. My focus is being the best left tackle in the NFL I can be right now. But when that chapter's closing, a new one's going to open. And I'm so fired up that we were able to do this, that you're going to be with us throughout the season, man. And it's one of those kind of like fun full circle things that we talked about it, and here we are now doing it.
And I love it too. And one thing I got to thank you and Marcus about, man. You guys always kept your word. As soon as I retired, you guys reached out to me. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate, they don't know you guys helped me a lot, during the season, getting things for me, helping me out with stuff, even now. So I'm just looking forward to working with you guys and see what we could do, man.
It's gonna be a blast. So for Eddie Paskal, Donald Penn, my man Ray on the ones and twos, and really our new friends here at Blue Wire, a huge shout out to them for letting us hang out, crash the party. Yeah, they're pumping their hands behind the glass. I see you fellas. And everyone else at Silver and Black Productions, we thank you for joining us for another episode of the 5th Quarter, and we will see you guys next week following the Las Vegas Raiders Week 3 game against the Miami Dolphins.